Happy birthday to me.
Here we go! This night, you're gonna find that nightmares do come true. We will find you. Trick or treat. This night, you're gonna find that.
What's up, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror, Year 3. This is Day 9. I am Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. Oh, Jesus. Happy Birthday to Me, the whole intro of this friggin' thing. Is a film from 1980, and it is directed by J. Lee Thompson, and stars the very beautiful, actually, Melissa Sue Anderson, who I've never heard of before, but she is the star and the lead actress in this film, and she's very nice to look at, absolutely. So yeah, 1980 film. We're getting into slasher territory, so this is 100% a slasher film, and I mean, I'll get into my full thoughts of the film in just a little bit, but the slasher elements are there. They're present. Could have been more, but they definitely deliver in what they give you for sure. So, synopsis-wise, you got this lead girl. Her name is... I'm already blanking on names. So we got Virginia as your lead, and she's like your typical girl next door. It's very apparent that she's going through a lot of trauma. She's dealing with a counselor or some kind of counselor character named David, and it becomes basically very apparent that she's dealing with a lot of trauma in her life because of an accident that she had a few years back. It also revolves around this killer character, so it kind of plays off as a whodunit for pretty much the entire film. And you're always wondering who the killer is, and people are being picked off one by one. It involves a bunch of college students, or university students, either college or university. And they're a big clique, and they hang out with each other all the time. And yeah, they start dying off one by one while we focus on this girl, Virginia, and her father. Her mother has deceased, and later on you figure out that the accident involved her and her mother. And it was basically a car accident on a bridge. I'll just leave it at that, because the accident and her trauma kind of plays part into the story as well. Her trauma basically starts right at the beginning of the film when she's hanging out with her friends, and they decide to have this street race. And there's a point where they're street racing where the bridge goes up. They're crossing a bridge, and it starts to go up to let a boat through. And she's in the vehicle, and this is where she starts to have all her flashbacks. And throughout the film, she continuously has more and more flashbacks right after this incident, because it completely reminds her of having the accident with her mother. And her mother, she drank a lot, she had a lot of emotional problems with her divorce, and yeah, things start to slowly get revealed with that, as well as the killer, and trying to figure out who done it. The reveals are okay. The flashbacks also are okay. There's actually one in particular that involves a surgery, which as soon as it involves a brain surgery, because after the accident she needed brain surgery, and it totally reminded me of Saw 3, like 100% reminded me of Saw 3. It could actually be more intense than the Saw 3 surgery scene on Jigsaw's brain. Really, really graphic and gruesome stuff on that. I cringed. I mean, operating table scenes already get me just to begin with, but that might even beat Saw 3. I don't know. It's a pretty close competition on that one. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, there's a pretty big twist at the end, and you know, the reveal is kind of entertaining. Some stuff is convoluted, some stuff kind of doesn't really add up, especially with certain reveals. But it is what it is. I mean, it's a slasher from the beginning of the '80s. So just finishing the '70s. Like slashers didn't even take off till a few years later. But I mean, this movie was all right. It really wasn't anything special to me, especially like the first half of it. I really it started to pick up. I started to enjoy it more as it went on, but the first half I was like, nah, this is shit. I don't even know if I want to keep this damn thing. But this doesn't even come with any special features or anything. No subtitles, nothing. Which sometimes, especially when you want to catch people's names and characters' names, the subtitles help to catch them. But yeah, this is just your typical film. I mean, like I got this used, so typically it comes with a slipcover. It didn't even come with that. But I mean, it was like the second half started to pick up. Like I said, it got a little bit better, but not a whole lot better. I'd probably land with this one. Probably give it maybe a 33 out of 100. Yeah, 33 out of 100 sounds pretty fair. Why out of 100? Because I hate decimals. That's basically my thoughts on the film. The first, actually, I forgot to mention, the killer himself, you never really see his face until they're revealed, but the the killer really feels giallo, like a giallo film. And for anybody who don't know what giallo films are, they're basically Italian mystery horror thrillers based on giallo books, which giallo, the word means yellow, and they're Italian films. And in Italy, they had this giallo series of books. Usually, that's like murder mysteries, really. And there's a whole slew of films, which they call giallo films, which is basically Italian horror, mystery horror thrillers kind of thing, based on the books. But they usually involve a killer with black gloves, and the killer in this movie has black gloves, and that's all you see. So it really, the film feels nothing like a giallo, but the killer himself does. And the way he plays out, it's kind of cool that way. I don't know if they did that on purpose or not, but I definitely took note. I'm like, this feels very giallo with the killer. My God, there's this character in the beginning. I don't know his name, but he stalks. Forgetting her name again. Jesus, Virginia. He stalks Virginia right through the beginning of the film, and then he kind of disappears later. But this guy's strange, man. Not only is he stalking her, but later on in her bedroom, he's peeking through her window, of course, and she's getting unchanged, and she drops her panties, and then like 5 to 10 minutes later into the film, they're at university on the football field or the soccer field, and he has her panties, and he shows them to her. He's like, "Oh, guess what I took from your room?" I'm like, what the fucking shit? You went through her window, took her panties, left with them, and then went up to her a few days later and like, "Hey, I took this from your room." And she's just like, "Oh, you pig." I'm like, that's it? Jesus Christ. Wow. She took that lightly. Huh. Yeah, anyways, that's writing from 1980. That's your writing from films from 1980, Jesus. There's a really good kill actually involving weights, like this guy's lifting weights, and there's a good kill involving that. You can use your imagination on that one. I already talked about the surgery scene. Like I said, the flashbacks, she continues having them right after that bridge incident, and they all kind of just build off each other. And there's a famous kill as well, which it's pretty famous in the film. Like it's all over like posters. There's a bunch of "Happy Birthday to Me" posters that have this kill, but I won't mention it for somebody who doesn't know what it is. But as soon as the person took out, like the killer took out the murder weapon, I'm like, oh, here it is. I know what's coming. I know what's coming. But yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the most famous kills in the movie. So, but yeah, that's "Happy Birthday to Me." I mean, it sounds like I love the movie the way I'm talking about it, but really, like, it did disappoint me in a lot of ways. It was, I was expecting more. Like I was expecting like a much more classic slasher and like something a lot more retro, and rewarding and like not nostalgic, but like something that felt a lot more like 80s slasher style. But yeah, it was just way too average. So like I said, I'm gonna say 33 out of 100, and that's day 9 for you. And tomorrow is day 10. We are in slasher territory, so tomorrow's film is gonna be another slasher. And until then, and well, until then, and until the weekend, I will see you guys later. So, cheers.